मंगलाचरण। अखिल रसामृत मूर्ति प्रसमर रुचिरुद्ध तारकापालि कलित श्यामा ललितो राधा प्रेयान् विभुर्जयति। Welcome everyone to the class. So we were discussing the 11th shloka of the first wave of the first division of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. This 11th shloka is a very important shloka. अन्याभिलाषिता शून्यं ज्ञानकर्माद्यनावृतम् आनुकूल्येन कृष्णानुशीलनं भक्तिरुत्तमा. The characteristic of Uttama Bhakti or pure devotion is given here. We discussed Jiva Goswami's commentary and some part of Vishwanatha Chakravarti's commentary. Continuing from that, तदेवं सति कृष्णसम्बन्धी कृष्णार्थं वा अनुशीलनमिति तत्सम्बन्धमात्रस्य तदर्थस्य वा विवक्षितत्वात् गुरुपादाश्रयादौ भावरूपस्यापि क्रोडीकृतत्वात् प्रत्यादिस्थायिनि व्यभिचारि भावेषु च नाव्याप्तिः. So, on describing the meaning of the word Anushilanam, after that, he says the Krishna Anushilanam means Krishna Sambandhi Krishnartham va Anushilanam. That constant practice with the body, speech, and the mind in relation with Krishna or for the sake of Krishna. That constant practice, Anushilanam, in relation with Krishna or for the sake of Krishna, is called Krishna Anushilanam. So, because the intention of the author Rupa Goswami is to say the relation of those actions with Krishna, or simply they are for the sake of Krishna, then even the bhava elements, even the bhava elements of pure devotion to Krishna, such as sthai bhava, vyabhichari bhava, and anubhava, all these things. So even these various types of sthai bhavas which are there, various types of vyabhichari bhavas that are there, they are included in this meaning of the word Krishna Anushilanam, because the Bhava Rupa Bhakti is also included in the list of the items listed for the cultivation of Krishna Bhakti. Krishna Bhakti begins with Guru Padashraya, taking shelter of the feet of the Guru. That is the first item of Krishna Bhakti. And in that list of the items of Krishna Bhakti, where Guru Padashraya is the first item, when it various elements or various angas of bhakti which are mentioned there, the bhava angas, they are also mentioned in that list, because these bhava bhakti elements such as cultivation of one's sthai bhava for Krishna and all these things, they are also included in that list of bhakti. There is no avyapti here. There is no non-inclusion of those elements here. They are also included here. Okay. So, just for those who may not know, so bhakti is generally categorized as having three phases or three stages. And the first stage is sadhana bhakti, where a person is taking up the practice of Krishna Bhakti under the guidance of the Guru and the Shastras, then when one progresses on the path of bhakti and his mind becomes purified and becomes infused with devotion for Krishna more and more, then one reaches a state called Bhava Bhakti. Bhava Bhakti is the state where one experiences loving emotions for Krishna. And after Bhava Bhakti becomes more mature and developed, it is called Prema Bhakti or Prema Bhakti, which is the condition of love for Krishna. Okay? So these are the three general stages of bhakti, which are subdivided into various other divisions. You will see that in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu itself. So even the elements of higher elements of bhakti, such as bhava and prema, they are also included in Krishnanushīlanam, in cultivation. They are also included as a part of constant practice in relation with Krishna. Although Prema Bhakti is not a sadhana, it is not a practice. It is sadhya stage. It is the highest stage to be attained. But still, because it is application, you are applying yourself in relation to Krishna. So that is also included in Krishna Anushilana. So, any questions someone has? Okay.
So, Hare Krishna Prabhu, regarding this stages of Bhava and Prema that we will discuss in the first wave, right? Or will it come in the second wave?
No, they will be discussed in the third and the fourth.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Etacca Krishna tad bhakta kripayaiva labhyam. So this Uttama Bhakti for Krishna can be attained only by the mercy of either Krishna or Krishna's devotee. You cannot attain pure bhakti for Krishna by any other means. Okay, only by the mercy of Krishna or by the mercy of his devotee can you have pure bhakti. That's it. Shri Bhagavata Swarupa Shakti Vritti Rupa Kayadi Vritti Rupena Avirbhutameva Jaya. So this Krishna Bhakti, it is the vritti of Bhagavan's own Swarupa Shakti. Okay. It is the function of Krishna's own inherent potency, Swarupa Shakti, that is his Chit Shakti. Okay. And this function of Krishna's Swarupa Shakti manifests Avirbhutam. It manifests in the form of the functions of our body, of our speech and our mind. When we, for example, utter the names of Krishna in devotion. So that act of uttering his names is called Kirtanam, glorifying him. So it is Bhagavan's own Swarupa Shakti manifesting in the form of our act of chanting his names. It is not done by our material senses. Okay? Krishna's name and Krishna's leelas and Krishna's form cannot be conceived of or cannot be approached by our senses and the mind. Only when Krishna reveals himself to us can we know him. So it is Krishna's revelation of himself through his Swarupa Shakti that is happening here. Okay. Any question here? Okay. So then the editor skips the portions that are same as Jiva Goswami's commentary. So let me just go to the Bengali edition where the whole commentary is visible. Okay. Mm. आनुकूल्यं च उद्देश्याय श्रीकृष्णाय रोचमाना प्रवृत्तिः इति उक्ते लक्षणे अतिव्याप्तिर् अव्याप्तिश्च. So Jiva Goswami in his commentary uh, explained the word anukulyam as Krishnaya rochamana pravritti, the tendency to please Krishna, the intention to please Krishna. That is anukulyam, favorability. But Vishwanath Chakravarti points out a fault in that explanation given by Jiva Goswami. Of course, he does not mention that Jiva Goswami has given this explanation, and I don't agree with that because Jiva Goswami is, unquestionable. Very, very respectable in the body of Vaishnava Sampradaya. So, but Vishwanath Chakravarti, for some reason, does not agree with that explanation of Jiva Goswami, and he says that uh, there is a problem in that explanation. What is that? Ativyapi avyaptischa. It is inclusive of something that it should not include, and it excludes something that it should not exclude. Let's see how it happens. Tadyatha asurakartrika prahara रूपानुशीलनम युद्धरस उत्साहरति Shri Krishnaya rochate yathoktam prathamaskandhe. So, for example, he says, the asuras, when they fight with Krishna and they try to attack him, so uh, Krishna very much likes that Veera Rasa, that heroic mode of fighting. And he gets this Utsaharati and this Sthayi Bhava of Utsaha, which is the Sthayi Bhava of Veera Rasa. So, Krishna very much enjoys that fight with the Asuras. Although Asuras want to harm Krishna, but they do not want to please Krishna. They have no intention of pleasing him, but still Krishna enjoys that. As it is said in the first skandha, Manasvinamiva Sat Samprahar. This is 13th chapter, 30th shloka, first skandha, Srimad Bhagavatam. So, Patim Prayantam Subalasya Putri, Pativrata Chanudagama Sadhi, Himalayam Nyastadanda Praharsham Manasvinamiva Sat Samprahar. This is when Gandhari leaves home following Dhritarashtra, who goes to the Himalayas for tapasya. So, both of them, they went to the Himalaya, which is Nyastadanda Praharsham Manasvinamiva Sat Samprahar. It those who are great souls, they very much enjoy a good bashing by the enemy, a good fight by the enemy, a good attack, good opposition. Okay, a good opposition is very much desired by those who are great warriors. So a good challenge. So Krishna enjoys that good fight with the Asuras. That's what it is said here. So that is his Veera Rasa, enjoyment. So this definition of Anukulya as a tendency to please Krishna, intention to please Krishna, this definition will not make sense because the Asuras who have no tendency of pleasing Krishna end up pleasing Krishna. Okay? So, Krishna enjoys something which is not intended to give him pleasure. And on the
Actually, Parakshi, a question. In Srimad Bhagavatam, when we read about the boar, how he came up and fought with, who was this, Hiranyaksha? In Hiranyaksha hits him with his mace. It was as if he was and it hits the chest of Bhagwan. It was as if he was tickling Bhagwan.
Ah,
That description is there.
yes.
So Krishna enjoyed the fight with the Asuras. So I'm not following you when you say that when Asuras fight with Krishna, it's not as if Krishna is pleased.
Yeah, Krishna enjoys that. Krishna is pleased when Asuras
It's
fight with
pleased.
him
Okay.
because he enjoys a good fight. Yeah, that is the point he is making here. But uh, the Asuras do not have any intention of pleasing him.
That is true. Okay.
They do not have any intention of pleasing him, yet Krishna is pleased. On the contrary, Shri Krishnam vihaya dugdharakshartham gataya yashodaya stadrishanushīlam krishnaya na rochate ythoktam Shri Dashame sanjatakopas puritarunadhara. So, in the 10th skandha, 9th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. Oh yeah, thank you. Thank you. Sorry for that. In the 9th chapter of the 10th skandha, it is said that when Sri Yashoda, the mother of Krishna, saw the milk boiling over the stove, so she kept Krishna down and immediately rushed to the stove and got it out of the stove to stop wastage of any milk, which was actually meant for Krishna's pleasure. So, such an act of Yashoda was not pleasing to Krishna because it is directly stated in the Bhagavatam itself. Sanjata Kopa. Krishna became very angry and Spuritarunadhara. He became so angry that his lips were trembling with anger. So, although Yashoda's intention was to please Krishna, Krishna was not pleased. Okay. So, technically, what should have happened is that this act of Yashoda should have been included in favorability, in the definition of being favorable, because she did it with the intention of pleasing Krishna, but Krishna was not pleased by that. So, this act of Yashoda of leaving Krishna and going to save the milk would not be counted as bhakti, would not be included in the definition of bhakti because it would not be anukulyam, it would not be favorable to Krishna because Krishna did not at all like it. He became very angry when Yashoda did that. On the contrary, bhakti should not include the Asuras' act of fighting against Krishna because Asuras do not have any intention of pleasing him, but still it would be included in the anukulyam, favorability, because Krishna liked that. Krishna appreciates that fight with Asuras. So Asura's act of fighting against Krishna would be counted as bhakti, and Yashoda's act of leaving Krishna and saving the milk would not be counted as bhakti. That would be a problem. Asura's act of fighting with Krishna should not be bhakti, and Yashoda's act of saving the milk should be bhakti. So how would you explain that? Because anukulyam definition, the description of the word anukulyam would not include Yashoda's act and would not exclude the Asura's act. Okay. Do all of you get this point which Vishwanath Chakravarti is making here? Any questions here?
So, Hare Krishna Prabhu, I understood the point. I'm just trying to clarify that. Yashoda's act is not pleasing, and Asura's act is pleasing. But when I mean, so this stand is from Jiva Goswami's commentary. That's what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is explaining. Is that correct?
What is the last thing you said?
No, Yashoda act is not pleasing, whereas Asura's act is pleasing. Okay, so this stand is the stand of Shiva Goswami's commentary. That's what Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is pointing out, right?
He is implying that, like, Jiva Goswami gave the description of Anukulyam as the action, actually. Pravritti. Pravritti means the action. The action which is pleasing to Krishna. The action which is pleasing to Krishna is that which is favorable to Krishna, and any such action is bhakti. So any action that is pleasing to Krishna is bhakti. Then the Asura's act of fighting with Krishna will also be bhakti. And the act of Yashoda of leaving Krishna and saving the milk, that would not be bhakti because it was not pleasing to Krishna.
Yeah. Okay. But ideally, I mean, one question arises is like, then if fighting is also Krishna, fighting with Krishna is also bhakti, means then whoever are enemies of Krishna, real enemies like Shishupala, his only job is to only abuse Krishna 24/7. So and finally he got killed by Krishna. So then that is not the case of the bhakti, right?
It is not bhakti. Okay. So having enmity towards Krishna, hating Krishna is not bhakti.
Yeah.
So that is the
Then,
problem in that understanding.
But Shishupala got moksha.
Yeah, he got moksha, but that is a different case. That is Krishna's mercy on him. But he was not a bhakta. That is the point.
okay.
So how Vishwanath Chakravarti resolves this problem in that Anukulyam description is that तथा च तत्र तत्र अतिव्याप्य व्याप्तिवारणाय आनुकूल्यं नाम प्रातिकूल्य शून्यत्वमेव विवक्षणीयम्. So therefore, in order to avoid the problems of non-inclusivity and non-exclusivity of those various devotees and asuras, we should understand the word anukulyam to mean only devoid of enmity, devoid of sentiment against Krishna. Okay. Pratikulya shunya. Pratikulya means adversity. So devoid of any adverse intentions regarding Krishna. Okay. That's how we should understand Anukulyam as. That's how we resolve this problem. In this way, when we understand that in this way, evam sati asureshu dvesha rupa pratikulya sattvat na ativyapti evam yashodaya pratikulya bhavad na avyapti iti bodhi. So if we understand anukulyam as pratikulya shunyatvam, when we understand anukulyam as being devoid of adverse emotions for Krishna, then because the asuras have adverse emotions for Krishna, have adverse intentions regarding Krishna, they will not be included as having bhakti. And because Yashoda does not have adverse emotions for Krishna, she will be included in bhakti. Her act of saving the milk and leaving Krishna will be included in bhakti. Okay, I will repeat again. So instead of understanding Anukulyam as an action pleasing to Krishna, we should simply understand Anukulyam as being devoid of any adverse sentiments for Krishna. Okay. So because the asuras have adverse sentiments for Krishna, and because Anukulyam now means not having adverse sentiments for Krishna, because asuras have them, their act of fighting against Krishna will not be counted as bhakti. And because Yashoda does not have adverse sentiment for Krishna, which is anukulya, so therefore her act is anukulyam, is devotion. Okay. Etena, in this way, because of this, विशेषणस्य आनुकूल्यस्य एव भक्तित्वमस्तु भक्तिसामान्यस्य इव कृष्णाय रोचमानत्वात् विशेष्यस्य अनुशीलनपदस्य वैयर्थ्यमित्यपि शङ्का निरस्ता. Now, the other point, Jiva Goswami in his commentary had mentioned that then let the word anukulyam itself define bhakti. What is the necessity of the word Krishnanushilanam? Let Krishnanukulyam be bhakti. Why Anushilanam you are saying? Krishnanukulyam should only be bhakti. Jiva Goswami said, yes, Krishnanukulyam alone is sufficient explanation for Krishna bhakti. But in order to emphasize the meaning of cultivation and constant application, Rupa Goswami has used the word Anushilanam. So, Vishwanath Chakravarti is refuting that point also. So, because of this understanding of the word Anukulyam as being devoid of adverse sentiments for Krishna, the word Anukulyam cannot, only the word Anukulyam cannot be understood as bhakti. Only being devoid of adverse sentiments for Krishna cannot be bhakti, because even a non-conscious thing like a table, like a chair, like a pot, they do not have any sentiments. They also do not have adverse sentiments for anyone, for Krishna also. So they will also be bhaktas, they will also be devotees in that definition. So therefore it is necessary, the word Krishna Anushilanam is required. It is not a useless word in the shloka. Okay. So तादृश प्रातिकूल्य भाव मात्र से घटेपि सत्वात्. Even a pot and other such things have absence of adverse sentiments for Krishna. So you cannot say that Anukulyam itself is bhakti, means devoid of negative sentiments for Krishna itself is bhakti. One has to apply oneself in relation with Krishna. Anushilanam should be there. Okay. Then, any questions someone has, any doubts?
So what is the meaning of Anushilanam, Prabhu? Following favorably?
Yes, we have discussed this in the last class.
Yes, yes. Just the
Anushilanam
meaning.
means constant application, constant practice.
Okay.
Okay. Uttamatva siddhyartham visheshanadvayam aha. Now, in order to establish the purity of Krishna Bhakti, Uttamatva, the highest form of Bhakti, in order to establish that, Rupa Goswami has given the two adjectives for Bhakti, which is Anyabhilashita Shunyam and Jnana Karma Jnanavratam. What kind of Krishnanushilanam is required? Anyabhilashita Shunyam Anushilanam. Anyasmin Bhaktyatiriktatve Palatvena Abhilasha Shunyam. Bhaktya Sanjataya Bhaktya iti Ekadashoktir Bhaktyuddeshyaka Bhaktikaranam Eva iti ityatah anyasmin khalu bhaktyatiriktatya. So according to the 11th skanda Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd chapter, 31st shloka, Shri Krishna tells to Uddhava, or I think one of the Yogendras actually speaks to King Nimi, So he says bhaktya sanjataya bhaktya. Devotion that is produced from devotion. Devotion is not caused by any other thing. It is only devotion for Krishna that produces devotion for Krishna. It means devotion for Krishna in the sadhana stage becomes mature as devotion for Krishna in the sadhya state, in the perfected state. Okay. So, uh, अन्यस्मिन् भक्त्यतिरिक्तत्वे, one should not have any devotion for anyone else other than Krishna. फलत्वेन अभिलाषशून्य. You should not expect anything from bhakti other than bhakti. This is also the meaning. You should not expect from Krishna bhakti to attain anything else. You should only aim for more devotion to Krishna. You should only aspire for devotion to Krishna through devotion to Krishna. So, bhakti-uddeshyaka bhakti-karanam uchitam. It is only proper when one engages in bhakti in order to gain more bhakti. In order to develop in bhakti, one engages in bhakti. Only that engagement of bhakti is the proper engagement of bhakti. Otherwise, it is an improper bhakti. It is a mixed form of bhakti. Corrupted form of bhakti, to be more precise. Okay. So, therefore, अन्यस्मिन् खलु भक्त्यतिरिक्तः इत्येतत्. Therefore, one should not have devotion for any other entity except Krishna. One should not have attachment, it means. One should not have, in the sense, one should not serve, one should not dedicate one's life to anyone else other than Krishna. Any questions or doubts someone has?
Hare, I have
Yes.
one. So, yeah, we need to only focus. We need to expect bhakti and only bhakti. So that means when we are trying to take care of normal material situations to keep one's body and mind intact, so as much as needed, so that also brings those are considered as favorable things of bhakti or non-favorable things of bhakti.
Yeah. One should only um, collect as much as necessary to stay peaceful, not for enjoyment. That should be the judging point. So
Okay.
I am doing this action not because I want to enjoy the results of that, but because I want to be peaceful in my life, and being peaceful in my life will help me engage in Krishna Bhakti in a better way. Because with
Okay.
a disturbed mind, one cannot engage in Bhakti properly. So only as much as required. So different people may have different requirements. Someone may require just one room and be happy to live there. Someone, his actual requirement is to have a 3 BHK house and all these things. For him to be peaceful, not because he wants to enjoy, because he has been brought up in that condition from his birth. If he lives in a small place, he will be mentally unstable. That is the point.
I see. Got it. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Bhakti, Bhakti, Deshakam, Bhakti, Karanam, Kita, unless meaningful Bhakti. Okay. Continuing. यथा actually should be तथा तथा अन्यत्र अन्याभिलाषय शून्यत्वं विहाय अन्याभिलाष स्वभावार्थक ताच्छील्य प्रत्ययेन कस्यचित् भक्तस्य कदाचित् कस्मात् मरणसङ्कटे प्राप्तेः भगवन् भक्तं मामेतद्विपत्तिः सकाशात् रक्ष इति कादाचित् काभिलाषसत्त्वेऽपि न क्षति. So he explains the usage of the suffix ta in the word anyabhilashita shunyam. Okay. So Vishwanath Chakravarti says that instead of using the word anyabhilash shunyam, Rupa Goswami has used the word anyabhilashita shunyam, not anyabhilash shunyam. So this ta suffix indicates natural tendency, abhilashita, one's natural condition, that one does not have any other desire. One only wants to please Krishna, serve Krishna. Why are you serving Krishna? Because I want to serve him. There is no reason for that. Okay? There is no reason why you are serving Krishna. You want to serve him, that's all. So that is one's nature. Anya bhilashita shunyam. One does not want anything else from Krishna's service. What is your purpose in serving Krishna? If you put that question in some different manner, what do you want to attain by serving Krishna? I don't want to attain anything by serving Krishna. मुझे कुछ नहीं चाहिए. I just want to serve him. That is pure bhakti. That is pure devotion. Okay. So that is when one has this sentiment naturally. When this sentiment has become a part of one's nature, then it is called anyabhilashita shunyam. Okay. So it means that sometimes if such a devotee who naturally has no desire for anything else, so if such a devotee sometime by some accident has the danger of dying, and because he is helpless, he prays to Krishna, "Oh Bhagavan, I am your devotee, kindly save me from this calamity, I may die." So such desire on the part of the devotee to save his life, such a desire which has happened accidentally, in the sense, such a desire which has aroused all of a sudden in a very difficult predicament out of his helplessness, then there is no problem, because it is not his nature to desire protection for his own self from Krishna. He desired it because of helplessness. Okay. He desired his own protection because he was totally helpless. Vaivashya hetuka svabhava viparyayena. And because of his helplessness, his svabhava, his natural disposition of not asking for anything from Krishna, became changed. His nature of anyabhilashita shunyam, it changed. So there it is no problem, because his nature is still intact. He asked something from Krishna which is contrary to his nature. It is not a part of his nature. It is unnatural for him to ask for Krishna, even for his own protection at the time of dying. But because it is out of his helplessness that he did so, his nature of not desiring anything from Krishna does not change. And therefore, there is no problem if such a thing happens. Okay? यतस्तस्य वैवश्य हेतुः स्वभाव विपर्ययेन एव तादृगभिलाषो न तु स्वाभाविक इति. Such a desire for his own protection is not his nature. is not natural to him, but still he did so because of his helplessness. That's all. So it does not obstruct his pure devotion for Krishna. He does not all of a sudden become an impure devotee, not an Uttama Bhakta. He does not change into that kind of a devotee. Any questions or doubts?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, I have one question here. So, if you take the case of asking help under protection when one is leaving the body on a difficult situation, if you extend that scenario to other scenarios, like if we are in not of dying situation, but in some other difficulty, like some other critical difficulty. So even that scenario also is an helpless situation. That is also big count, like there is also a similar situation, right? It does not jeopardize his position, whatever he is doing, favorability towards Krishna. But
Yes, yes.
okay,
That is right. It does not jeopardize his position as a pure devotee of Krishna. If it happens very rarely, and if it happens in a very difficult material circumstance. Punah kidrisham, again, what kind of pure devotion? Jnana karmadyanavratam. Jnanamatra nirbheda brahmanusandhanam, same as Jiva Goswami's commentary. So, yajna vairagya yoga sankhya abhyasadayastairanavratam. So, jnana karma adi anavratam. Adi means yajna, vairagya, yoga, sankhya, abhyasa, practice of sacrifices, practice of plain detachment from this world, Ashtanga yoga practice, Sankhya practice. One's bhakti should not be covered by these things. Natu purvavat shunyam ityartha. It does not mean that one's practice in relation with Krishna should be devoid of knowledge and action. The shunyam is not, the word shunyam is not used, the word used is anavratam, not covered. So it means that तेन च भक्त्यावरकाणामेव ज्ञानकर्मादीनां निषेधोऽभिप्रेतः. It means that only those jnana and those karmas and those activities and those practices are prohibited which cover bhakti. Only those practices which cover one's bhakti for Krishna, they are prohibited, not the practices in relation with bhakti, not the knowledge in relation with bhakti. भक्त्यावरकत्वं नाम विधिशासनात् नित्यकर्माकरणे प्रत्यवायादिभयात् श्रद्धया क्रियमाणत्वं तथा भक्त्यादिरूप इष्टसाधनत्वात् श्रद्धया क्रियमाणत्वं च. What do you mean that some activity would cover bhakti? Karma covering bhakti means when you do the Vedic karmas out of fear. For example, Vedas have instructed that you should do Sandhya Vandanam regularly 3 times a day. If you don't do Sandhya Vandanam, you will get papa, you will get sin. So, because of fear of getting papa or not doing Sandhya Vandanam, when you do that with dedication, that is your karma covering your bhakti. Okay, Shraddhaya Kriyaman, from doing that action with great dedication, out of fear of getting sin if you don't do it, then your bhakti is covered by karma, which should not happen. Okay. Another instance where this can happen is that bhaktyadi rupa ishta sadhanatvat shraddhaya kriyamanatvam cha. When you think, when you perform your Vedic duties of whether Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, when you dedicatedly do those activities, thinking that these will help you attain bhakti for Krishna, then that karma is covering your bhakti for Krishna. No type of Vedic activity, karmika, no type of karma kanda will help you attain devotion for Krishna. Only devotion for Krishna can give rise to devotion for Krishna. Okay, so these are the two ways in which karma can cover one's bhakti. Any questions? Any doubts?
Yes, Prabhu. I have a question here.
Ah.
So you mentioned if one doing the daily rituals or Sandhya Vandanam, then then what is the mood or way that one should think while doing Sandhya Vandanam that it does not go against bhakti? Like,
Okay.
okay, we cannot think of fear. Oh, that's coming next. Okay.
Yeah. Vishwanath Chakravarti says that तेन लोकसंग्रहार्थम् अश्रद्धयापि पित्रादिश्राद्धं कुर्वतां महानुभावानां शुद्धभक्तौ न अव्याप्ति. So those great devotees, those pure devotees, who out of a desire to set a proper example in the ordinary world for ordinary people, right? Out of a desire to set an example for common people, when they do such Vedic activities such as Shraddha karma for one's forefathers, Sandhya Vandanam, or whatever, but they do these activities ashraddhaya, without any dedication towards these actions. They are not attached to these actions. They do not have any regard for them. They are not concerned with these actions. They have no love for these actions of instructed in the Vedas. But still they do it in order to set a proper example for common people. So when they do that, that does not hamper their being pure devotees of Krishna. Okay? It is included in pure devotion. When you can do your Vedic karmas, you are not asked to give up all your Vedic karmas, but you should not have any interest in them. You can do them in order to set a proper example for others. Do not have any interest in them, and that will not hamper your growth in Krishna Bhakti, in pure Bhakti. Okay? Yeah. अत्र श्रीकृष्णानुशीलनं कृष्णभक्तिरिति वक्तव्ये भगवच्छास्त्रेषु केवलस्य भक्तिशब्दस्य तत्रैव विश्रान्तिरिति अभिप्रायात् तथोक्तम्. So, Krishnanuशीलनम, this word means Krishna Bhakti. Okay? It means in all the Shastras pertaining to Bhagavan, wherever only the word Bhakti appears, only the word Bhakti is used, it should be understood to mean Krishnanuशीlanam. Okay? It should be understood to mean that, Krishnanuशीlanam. That's why Rupa Goswami has used this word Krishnanuशीlanam to define Krishna Bhakti, Uttama Bhakti. So, only the word Bhakti on its own, when it comes in any Vaishnava Shastra, it should mean Krishnanuशीlanam. Okay. Any doubts? Any questions?
Yes, bro. One question. So, let's say if we are trying to go into a temple of the demigod out of to go with the family, or just trying to hear a pastime. So we just have to like go. Maybe just out of duty we should go, but we should not have any taste in doing that, right? Like, I mean, I understood that theoretically, but in practice I'm just trying to contemplate.
Yeah. For example, your family has some deva who is not Vishnu, and they are dedicated to that devata. For example, let's take it as Ganesha. So for hundreds, 200 years, your forefathers have been worshipping Ganesha at your home and going to Ganesha temple and like that. So you don't want to disrupt the family tradition. You don't want to disturb the emotions of your family members. So, of course, you can always say that Krishna is the supreme and you should worship Krishna, but you are just a child in front of them. They will not listen to you most of the time. So, okay. Uh, so, do not, you should not try to disrupt the faith of this of those who are dedicated already to some particular Vaidika deva or some Vaidika practice. So Krishna also instructs in the Bhagavad Gita, do not disrupt the faith of others. Okay. So in order to not disrupt their faith, you can also go along with them to the temple of Ganesha whenever they go. But you should know in your heart that this act of going to Ganesha temple and bowing down to him and praying to him is not required for me to progress in my Krishna bhakti. And if I do not do this act of worshipping Ganesha, which is my family tradition, I should not be afraid that I will get any papa. No, I will not get any papa because I am dedicated to my Supreme Master Krishna. You should be convinced of this. So, with that mentality, when you engage in that worship of Ganesha, it is fine. It will not obstruct your bhakti. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Anyone else has a question? Yes. Okay.
I mean, we were talking about Narayana Upanishad yesterday in our class.
Huh.
So there it clearly says Rudrasya, what was it?
Yeah.
Rudra is Narayana, Indra is Narayana. It doesn't talk about Ganesha because it was probably written before Ganesha became a deity. But I don't see any harm in going to a deity like Ganesha or Shiva. But when we worship them, we worship Krishna.
Yeah, that is also one good point. Thank you, Srinivasanji. When you approach these devas, you should think that these are not independent devas, they are the vibhutis of Krishna. Krishna or Vishnu has manifested himself in the form of these devas, and these devas are manifesting actually some aspect of Vishnu. They are vibhutis. They are not same as Vishnu. Vishnu is different and these devas are different, but these devas are manifesting some aspects of Vishnu. So in that way, they are his servants, they are his manifestations. And in that way, you will not be having the conception of seeing these devas as separate from Vishnu. You will see them as connected with Vishnu, connected with Krishna. So this is a very important point, that you should not see the devas and anyone else. All living beings should be seen as dependent on Shri Krishna. Okay. So you should always have that conception. Or whatever devata you may be visiting. So you should have the conception. For example, if you go to a Durga temple in the Navaratri, so you should understand that she is the Bahiranga Shakti of Krishna. She is Maya Shakti of Krishna, Krishna Shakti. Okay. When you go to the temple of Bhagavan Shiva, then you should understand he is the Gunavatara of Shri Krishna. Okay. So that's how you should see them. And also you can pray to them for devotion to Krishna. Please grant me more devotion for Krishna and more dedication to his lotus feet. So that is the best prayer you can make to any devata. Okay. So that's the thing. All right. So next verse. Yatha Shri Narada Pancharatri. Rupa Goswami now refers to the Narada Pancharatra for supporting his definition of Uttama Bhakti. Sarvopadhi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam ऋषिकेण ऋषिकेश सेवनम bhakti ruchyate. Rishikesha Sevanam, service to Krishna, attendance to Krishna with Rishikas, with one's senses. Such a service to Krishna, which is Sarvopadhi Vinirmukta, which is devoid of any designations and which is completely dedicated to him, aligned with him, and which is completely pure, that is called bhakti. So he is supporting the definition of Uttama Bhakti with this shloka of Narada Pancharatra and other shlokas from Srimad Bhagavata also, which he will refer to just after this. Jiva Goswami says, Tat Paratvena Anukuli. Tat Paratvena means Anukulyena in the definition of Uttama Bhakti which Rupa Goswami had given. He had used the word Anukulyena Krishna Anushilan. So Anukulyena means with favorableness. Tat Paratvena is the word used in this shloka of Narada Pancharatra. Tat Paratvena literally means being completely dedicated to him, being aligned with him. It means being favorable to him, right? So that's what it means, Anukulyena. Then Sarvopadhi Vinirmuktam, it is the same as Anyabhilashita Shunyam. Sarvopadhi Vinirmuktam, devoid of all designations. It means you will not have any other desires. Anyabhilashita Shunyam. Sevanam, Rishikesha Sevanam. Sevanam means Anushiranam, constant practice, constant attendance, application. Nirmalam is the same as Jnana Karma Dhyanavratam. Nirmalam means pure and it implies not covered by knowledge and action. Atah Uttamatvam Swata Eva Uttam. Therefore, it's being the highest form of bhakti is automatically stated. Vishwanath Chakravarti, Rishikena Indriyena. That's all. Only difference is with the Indriyas, with the senses, name is Swarup Krishna. Okay. Any doubts here? Any questions? Okay. Shri Bhagavatasya Tritiya Skandhe cha. In the third Skandha Srimad Bhagavatam, 29th chapter, shlokas 11 to 14. The full shlokas are not quoted here by Rupa Goswami. अहैतुक्यव्यवहिता या भक्ति पुरुषोत्तमे सालोक्य सारष्टि सामीप्य सारूप्यैकत्वमप्युत दीयमानं न गृह्णन्ति विना मत्सेवनं जनाः स एव भक्ति योगाख्य आत्यन्तिक उदाहृतः. So let me show you the shlokas. So Bhagavan Shri Kapila tells to his mother Devahuti, Madguna Shruti Matrena Mai Sarva Guhashaye मनोगतिरविच्छिन्ना यथा गंगाम्भसोऽम्बुधौ लक्षणं भक्ति योगस्य निर्गुणस्य हृदार्हतम् अहैतुक्यव्यवहिता या भक्तिः पुरुषोत्तमे. So just by hearing of my qualities, when one's mind automatically rushes towards me like the waters of the Ganga rush towards the sea, that is the characteristic of the highest form of devotion, Nirguna Bhakti. And that is Ahaituki Avyavahita Bhakti. That is conditionless Bhakti and uninterrupted Bhakti for Bhagavan. So then is the full shloka quoted here. Next shloka. So Shri Kapila is saying that my devotees do not accept the 5 kinds of mukti that are there. Salokya mukti, sarshti, samipya mukti, sarupya mukti, and ekatva mukti, oneness. Even if I give these muktis personally, even if I appear before them and personally give these muktis to them, they will not accept these muktis if they do not have the opportunity to serve me. Mukti is immaterial, just imagine. Liberation from birth and death is of no consequence for a pure devotee. A pure devotee will not accept liberation if he will not have any chance to serve Krishna in that state of liberation. That is the point he makes. So, sa eva bhakti yoga. This, this alone is called bhakti yoga. Okay, this is the ultimate form of bhakti yoga. So, Jiva Goswami says, ahetuki, this verses, atra ahetuki iti anyabilashita shunya. The word ahetuki implies being devoid of any other desire, without any reason, without any cause you are engaging in Krishna bhakti. You don't want to attain anything else. So, ahetuki means anyabilashita shunyam. Avyavahita means jnana karmadi anavratam. Avyavahita, not covered. Avyavahita also means not obstructed. Here he is more referring to the not covered meaning of avyavahita. So he says jnana karmadi anavratam. That's what it means. And bhakti is bhava rupa. Bhakti of the nature of bhava bhakti. Okay, here in this particular definition of bhakti, Sri Kapila is referring to the higher stages of bhakti. Okay? That is bhava bhakti, where just by hearing of Krishna's qualities, one's mind is immediately attached to him, and one feels all kinds of loving emotions for him just by hearing about Krishna, about to speak of serving Krishna directly and like that. So that is the nature of bhava bhakti. And tathapi etad avyabhicharini kriya rupapi lakshate. Although this is bhava bhakti, but still it is also understood to be avyabhichari kriya rupa. It is also understood to be bhakti in the form of action, sadhana bhakti, which is uninterrupted. So here he takes the meaning being uninterrupted, avyabhichari. Okay, not stopping, unobstructed. So that meaning is also understood by this definition of bhakti. Yes? Any question? Sorry. अहेतुकी त्वमेव विशेषेण दर्शयति सालोक्य इति यस्यामिति शेषः आत्यन्तिकः परमपुरुषः. The ahetukitvam, the nature of bhakti being without any other desire, is what is brought out more in the next shloka, Salokya Sakshi Samipya, that the devotees of Bhagavan do not desire liberation if that is without serving Vishnu, without the chance to serve him. Okay. So in that shloka, the Anyabhilashita Shunyam is more elaborately described. Yasyam iti shesha. Okay. Atyantika Paramapurusha. Atyantika means the highest attainment. The ultimate attainment is bhakti yoga, is such pure devotion to Krishna, is the supreme attainment of life. Okay. Any doubts, any questions? So Vishwanath Chakravarti describes what are these 5 kinds of mukti in the commentary. Yasyam bhaktau satyam vishesha. When one engages in that devotion for Bhagavan Shri Vishnu, even if Vishnu gives you these types of liberation, if they are not affording you the chance of serving Vishnu, you will not accept them. Such is the nature of that pure devotee. So, Salokya means Bhagavata sah ekasmin loke vasa, residing on the same loka where Bhagavan is residing. Sarshti means having the same opulence as Bhagavan Vishnu has. Sarupya means having the similar form as Vishnu has. Samipya means uh, residing very close to Vishnu. And Ekatvam means Sayujyam, identifying with the all-pervasive Brahman and so on. Atyamrita Parama Purusha. Any questions, comments? All right. So we can stop here for today's class. And we'll meet again on the coming Wednesday. Thank you so much for participating in
Thank you,
today's class.
Parashji.
Hare Krishna.
Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanastu.
Thank you.